Well, hey, all you salty dogs, today we are jumping back into the big bad Jeep project here, and this morning we are going to be diving in. Actually, it's this afternoon already. I've been working all day on this thing. We're going to dive back into getting this floor panel fitted down in here. Now, I've already done a bunch of work this morning off camera. I got the body mount welded in. I got the floor pretty well ground up. I drilled out a bunch of spots to weld through, and all that was kind of just off camera stuff. It's something that you really don't need to see, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it here. As you can see, I've drilled several holes in there, and then several holes down along this edge, and then there's several holes that were already here where tack welds were broke out of there. And so what those are going to be is those are going to be my places that we weld to on the other side here. So those holes in the floor right there, those will weld onto that piece right there. And then obviously I'll have a seam to weld all the way around. And then I took this piece here and got it cut to where it will weld back to the bottom there. So, put that in frame. Got that piece cut to where it'll weld back to the bottom there. And so that's good. Still got a little seam sealer on the end there to clean off, but we'll get that done here in a few minutes. But as it is right now, let's go ahead and get this floor fitted in here. So this is kind of the last test fit of this floor here. So let's see how we're looking. Don't go too far. So that's looking good, that's looking good. That'll go under like it's supposed to. I'm going to go ahead and do this grinding work off camera here because that's just a little bit of cutting and fitting, and you guys have seen enough grinding in these videos already. All right, we got her fitted up in there. Everything's looking pretty good. Now we're going to start working her into place. First tack. So what I'm doing here is just trying to massage the sides of these pieces of steel together. It's a fairly thin steel. It's about 16 gauge. And so with that, it's not going to line up perfectly, so you just have to walk the pieces together. And how I'm doing that is I'll hold it from one side, push it into place, hammer it a little, or in more extreme cases, I've got that block of aluminum there that I'm using, and I'll use that. You can see it underneath right here. I'm using it to push this floor section up, and it just holds it into place while I get the tack in there. And the good thing about using that aluminum, because it's a dissimilar metal, the aluminum won't incorporate itself in the weld that I'm making. The other thing when you're doing something like this, you want to move around as much as you can. You'll notice I'm not just staying in one place. I'm actually going back and forth, hitting different areas. And the reason for doing that is you want to spread the heat out. You start getting too much heat in this thin steel, and you'll just burn through it so fast. As a matter of fact, I think I just burned through in that one spot right there. So it is a critical process. Move it around, spread out the heat, hammer it, push it. You just have to massage it into place to make everything line up right. See how well this is going to fit here. About perfect on that. Lift it up just a tiny bit. Jack the floor to it. Perfection. All right, we can ground that up. This is why these magnets are so damn handy. Just get a hold of things and pull them right into where you want them. Oh, it's fantastic. Now here I'm welding the bottom of that A-pillar in, and I'm just being really careful, moving around on it, and I did get it too hot. I should have taken a little more time with this, but I was pushed for time, so I just kind of got on it and pushed through. I probably should have let that cool down significantly between doing these, but in the end it turned out all right. And here you can see I'm using that aluminum block again to make that go together, and then I'm going to go in, just jacked up the bottom of the floor, and then welded up the bottom. I'll let you see from the other side how I got that all welded up. It's not super pretty, but it'll grind. That's what's important. So Focus, you fuck. Open that back up. So it's starting to be one piece again. All right, we got that pan mostly welded in there. I got just a couple of touch-up spots to do. I'm gonna go ahead and get this ground out, cleaned up, and then we can move on to, I gotta get a patch panel for that made. Patch panel for right there. And then we gotta do something about that rust spot there. I think what I'm going to do for that rust spot underneath the roll bar there is I think I'm just going to go in and make a scab plate to go over the top of it, clean all the rust out of there, and then just make a plate and put one on each side and just spray that rust converter on there, and I think that'll solve it. Correct. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That way I'm not cutting a whole bunch of stuff out of the body. I'm just slapping a new piece in and calling it good. Oh yeah, we got her in. We got her ground. Still have a little bit to do. I put some of that rust converter back there. That stuff seems to be doing the job. I mean, it took all that red rust and just turned it black. And so that tells me it's working. I'm going to spray just a little bit more on before I leave. Sprayed a little on the other side as well. There's no rust through the floor there. And then this seat bracket here had cracked at the back, which is a common problem on these, so I just welded that back up, and we'll get that ground out tomorrow when I'm getting all this fitted back up. But shouldn't be too bad of a deal to go in there, make a little patch that goes over the top of that, and then be able to get the roll bar in here and start working on that. So then what we'll have left from there is we got to do the patch that goes in the side of the tub there. I got to do that one there up at the firewall, and that one really pisses me off because I think it's going to mess up my paint plans. But yeah, I guess it is what it is at this point. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to start tearing the other Jeep apart. Well, actually the Jeep apart, because it's the other tub that's coming off of there and then going on to this one. So oh yeah, I'm excited about getting all that together, so I'm feeling really good there. And then if oh, then the other thing, let me show you over here on the firewall. On here, I need to build a new piece to go into that so that the CJ7 windshield vent can work. That way I can have defrosters, because you're required to have defrosters by law, and you know, it's a really good idea to have them, because I am planning on taking this Jeep to Alaska. Something tells me driving this Jeep in Alaska without windshield defrosters would be a really bad idea. I'm just saying. I mean, even Montana, Colorado, Washington, where I spend a lot of time, horrible idea. So I can only imagine what Alaska and Canada would be like without them. So, but we're making progress. It feels good. It feels so good to have that floor in there. I'm just super pleased about that. And it came out pretty good. I mean, it was a bit of a challenge. I had some spots that were a little hard to weld, but we got her all welded up, and by the time it has bed liner sprayed over it, you won't even be able to tell anymore, and I guess that's the important part. You don't want your hot dogs? Huh? What is it, huh? Want your hot dogs? Oh, you doofus eyes. Dexter, you don't want your hot dogs? Well, good morning. We got the pieces cut out of here for the patch panels. There is a good amount of rust that was in behind that one. There still is on that one. I still got to clean that off. So get in there, do that, and then I got all the little holes for all the body trim to patch. So that'll be an adventure this morning. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just show you guys real quick how I'm hooking this up here. I got this pair of vice grips on here holding that edge together just so that this piece here lines up in line, and then I'll do it over on this side as well when we do it in here. But you know, this tub has a little bit of a roll to it here, and so I just cut it out of the fender where it had a very similar roll, and it just turned out to be the same radius, so that saved me a little bit of trouble. So I cut the patch panel out of that fender there right in here. That worked out real good. So got everything trimmed up now, which those gaps will close up a little bit. Once I push that together, I can weld that straight on through. And so we just got to get this thing tacked in here now, and I'll go ahead and do that. So what I'm doing here is just, again, moving around, trying to disperse the heat, working the edges together here, tacking everything into place, and getting those tacks. I'm putting them every 1.25 to 1.5 inches apart. And then when I start welding it out fully, I'll just go through and I'll just start burning those tacks together, working my way around. I'm not going to just like burn from tack to tack. I'm going to do a little bit at one, a little bit at the next. You can actually see I'm doing that right here. I'm just working my way between them. I'll do just a little bit of a spot till it starts to build up some heat, and then I'll move to the next side, let it cool down. These things do cool down fairly quickly, so it's just a matter of taking the time, move around, don't get something too hot. There we go, all welded in. Now we just got to do that one right there, and then we got the series of holes that for the old step there that have to get filled in. And then it was time to pull the top off and start disassembling the other tub, and let me tell you, this shop crane was so handy. So got the pedals pulled out of the tub here, and I am going to give this Permatex rust treatment a shot. I think this is going to become a new favorite stuff, because when you spray it on here, you just do a couple of light coats. They say about 2 minutes between a coat. And so we're going to do the whole thing, but everywhere I've sprayed this in the tub that it was rusty, it turned all that rust black and neutralized it. And so we're going to see what it can do for this pedal assembly here. Because supposedly it'll neutralize it, and then you can paint right over the top of it. And I'd really like to avoid taking this all apart. So first coat there, we'll come back in a few minutes, give it the second. All right, we just did the second coat to it. As you can see, it's already changing the color of that rust when you look at it from before. Yeah, it's getting nice and black over there. And this is the moment we've all been waiting for, pulling the tub off of her. And man, look at how easy it is, just using that shop crane to lift her up and walk her on off. All right, well, we got the roll bar mounted up in this one. And it is going to need just a little bit of adjustment. The holes down at the bottom there don't quite line up, so I'm going to have to ream those out a little bit. It's the same on both sides. The top ones do. You can only get one of the bottom in here, and I'm actually going to open that out a little bit larger than this one here, so we'll get those taken care of. You can see it's over here drying, and it has changed the color. It darkened all that right up. I mean, some of the spots here where it's still got paint, it actually, the rust just disappeared and the paint came back, so pretty happy with that. And the old white tub is looking pretty stripped out. She's pretty much done. I still got to get the seat belts out of there, but other than that, that's everything. Well, hey guys, this is going to be it for today. We got the roll bar mounted up. I got a whole lot done. I just spent the last hour or so cleaning up in here because it was getting to be a mess. Waiting on the pedals to dry. We're just, hopefully they'll be cured up by tomorrow. I think I'm going to throw one more coat on them before I get out of here totally. And then we should be set, but oh, the plan for tomorrow, come in. I need to remember to stop and get some masking tape so I can get these corners cleaned up, because I'd like to be able to mount the windshield permanently, not have to take it off again. And so I really want to get those corners there cleaned up and looking good. Get all the rust scrubbed off and killed, get some paint on them so that I can call those done. And then going to get the dash and everything put in, get the pedal assembly put in here. And then we'll be looking to get that dash. I'm just going to throw it in for now, and we're going to go ahead and get the, I got the, you see over there, I got the roll cage. That's the roll cage on the floor over there. So we'll get that roll cage in here and get some spots on that cleaned up, get her all tacked up, ready to go, and then get her burned in solid. So I'll have the roll cage going, and that'll be really nice having that in there. And yeah, just the little things. I mean, it's coming down to it now. It's just a lot of little things. So we'll get the tub set back on here. I got to make sure that all the body mounts line up and everything, and so that's going to be a concern. So get the body mounts checked out. Once we know the body mounts are good, and I come in and do the rest of her. So yeah, I am about totally beat. I think we're going to call it that for this episode. So we'll see you guys on the next one where we get into everything I just talked about. Bye.